Yes. Good morning. My name is Dan Cicala, and on behalf of First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, Delaware, I'm thrilled to welcome you all to today's service. I'd especially like to welcome any newcomers we may have today. If you feel like you're vibing with what you're hearing today and want to get connected with this community, the best way to get in the fold is to fill out a connection card. First time I'd seen it myself. Looks like this. Should be in your pew back pocket. If it's not there, welcome table after service and coffee hour, I think, should have it. If it's not there, we've got a problem. I don't know. Talk to someone and complain. So complete it, put it in the offering basket during service. If you're doing it during service, you can drop it off at the welcome table. If you're doing it at the welcome table, use the QR code, etc. Online viewers, you all should have a link to that card, I guess we'll call it in that context, and that should be in the chat to get you connected. In case you want to get connected with me after service, I want to give a description of myself for visual accessibility. We're trying to do that for the visually impaired, but I don't feel comfortable describing myself, so here's how some others described me. Tall, statuesque, strong man is what the gentleman in the front said. Thank you. One of the kids in CYRE said I have a gray haircut. I prefer to describe it as salt and pepper, but my doctor says I'm 5 feet, 11 inches and 3/4, so forgive me if I round up to 6 feet. I don't play favorites with my kids, but one said I have red ears while the other said my skin is tan. So I play favorites when it comes to their answers. Finally, I've had more than one comedian point me out in a crowd and say that I have a punch face. So if you want to give me a shout after service, just find the red-eared, gray-haired, punchable fella and let me know what's on your mind. Today's theme is rituals, and the first ritual we have on the schedule, which we've been doing since 2020, is saying hello to our friends at home. Thank you. We still love you all too. And now let's greet our neighbors in the sanctuary. Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
David Hearn will shortly be playing a lovely prelude to keep us off, but first, I'm sorry, not that shortly. First, I have good news. The fall live stream at First Unitarian Wilmington program brochure is now available. It's been sent to everyone on our mailing list, and you can pick up a copy for yourself, share with others, register for the programs, etc. If you're someone who doesn't do computers, you can register at the live stream table in Parish Hall. There should be a sign for that, I believe. And why I'm excited is because one of the first events on there is 1 week from today. Representative Sarah McBride, you heard of her? She'll be here, right where I'm standing maybe, I don't know, somewhere in this building. She'll be discussing her memoir, she'll be signing copies of said memoir, and talking about her experience as a congresswoman during these times that we're living through. I'm sure she'll have thoughts. Only thing is, that is an event you got to pre-register for, so visit firstuuwilm.org. That's 2 U's, firstuuwilm.org. And a link to register should be right on the homepage. So now, David, I'm ready to send them off with some music.
Greetings, everyone. It is lovely to be here again with you. Today, we are going to explore ritual. And I am Kate Franta. I'm one of the members here. Reverend Larry will return, don't worry. But we're going to explore ritual. And before I call in, I'd like to acknowledge this week's holy day for our Jewish members and friends. It's Yom Kippur this week, the Day of Atonement, which leads me to feelings of at one meant. And may we honor and remember those of the Jewish faith who enter this very sacred time ripe with ritual. Now, as I call in, I will face the cardinal directions. And this is a link to ancient ceremonies that each one of us, yes, even you, are connected with through our ancestors. So if you feel moved to join me, feel free to stand and face each direction, or you can stay seated and feel what happens to your attention as we turn and invite the different directions to hold us for our gathering today. So the east, if you're going to stand, please do, is that way. So you turn your back to me, and we begin. O great Spirit of the East, we greet you as the place of the rising sun, the place where all is born, from babies to kittens, to fresh ideas and friendships. Be with us today as we gather, enlightening us with your sunny golden light and the warmth of your fire. We are grateful for the wisdom you shine upon us, Spirit of the East. And now turn a quarter turn clockwise to the right and face the south. O great Spirit of the South, may your peaceful waters flow in, around, and through us, soothing us, cleansing us, and reminding us to flow with grace and strength through these times. We are grateful for the lessons of motions and flow that you bring to us, Spirit of the South. And turn, quarter turn to face the west up front. O great Spirit of the West, the land of the setting sun, where we learn of letting go, of impermanence and the dark of night. We are grateful for the red glow of sunsets and the power of transformation that you teach through letting go. Thank you for bringing your power here, Spirit of the West. Turn a quarter turn to face the north. O great Spirit of the North, may we greet you with the power of the buffalo, ready to withstand the cold, harsh winds of life that can be overwhelming at times. We are grateful for your power to blow in the wisdom of the ancestors, to teach us how to thrive when things are cold and uncertain in our lives. Your presence is a gift, Spirit of the North. And turn and face center again, up at the front. We look up to the great star nation above. We give thanks for the ethers, the celestial bodies that are still present to help us navigate, for the blanket of protection you provide, for the tides and the seasons, and for teaching us the cyclical nature of things, reminding us we are all in part of a cycle that will shift as the tides shift. We are grateful for your presence, Star Nation. And great Mother Earth, we turn our attention to you. You cradle us with every step. We give thanks for the gifts you give us. All that we need to thrive physically is abundant here, all a part, and may we walk gently upon you as we recognize the interdependent web of life. Great Mother. And now, we have called in the directions and our space is set. Blessed be.
If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to join me by lighting it to these words by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. When it feels like lament is the only sound and need, the only way of being, here is that one warm room where you know you belong. You know is waiting, open, ready. Here is that place you remember, where you are remembered in this too cold world. This place calls now softly. Come into the circle where you know that you belong. Now please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 1, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door, and remain standing after for affirmation. Please join me in affirming our mission. First Unitarian Church of Wilmington is a beloved community that nourishes minds and spirits, fights injustice, and transforms the world through loving action.
So today we're going to shift the order of things. We usually start with a meditation, but we're going to start with our prayers of the people and our joys and concerns, and then move into the meditation. So bear with me. And as we sit here together and our space is set, it has been said that the longest distance in the world is from our head to our heart. And so let us gently sift down into our hearts, out of our heads, and feel what is weighing on us right now. If you are at home, you may type in the chat to share what your concerns are, what is weighing down and weighing heavy on your heart. And here in the sanctuary, we will begin with sharing. And let's start with this side. Any concerns or thoughts or cares that you'd like to share to be held by the whole community? The Constitution.
Those struggling with addiction.
Struggling with addiction, yes. The children of Gaza. Funding for the arts. There was another one back here. And in the middle? The threat to free speech and the justice system. Jack Trusinski's family. Your granddaughter. And this side? Keeping hate out. Our democracy. Our healthcare system. Homelessness. And listening and communication. It's a heavy week with grief, anniversaries of your sister's death. So as we are all here together and what has been typed in the chat, and we've shared, and hopefully we can all hold together so the burden isn't so heavy. But even as we share the heaviness, with hope there is also buoyancy. What is lifting us up? There have got to be some joys. That was a lot of heavy sorrow. That was a lot of heaviness. And I know we are very complex beings. We can hold both and. So where are the joys in our lives? And what is bringing us up and buoyant today? It is a gorgeous day of bright sunshine after much needed rain, I will say that. And then we'll start on this side, joys. Right. What is happening, there's unions and unification of different groups coming together to combat climate science, to combat the misinformation about climate science, having tongue twisting today, misinformation combating through all the different groups. That is a joy of how people are coming together. Yes? Okay. The power of the people boycotting Disney and ABC, yes. When free speech was challenged, we spoke, yes. Other joys in the middle. The libraries, yes, and our precious books, yes. Taco Fest? Taco Fest and flag football with the kids. It does not get better than that. Yeah. More joys. The pop-up table today. Yeah? Is then the pop-up art show we have? Mm-hmm. Great medical news. Son being in remission. Great. Great. Reunions of childhood best friends. Oh, that is also beautiful. And there are several governors who are really also building bridges and forming unification. Yeah, united front. Beautiful. Yeah. And Christopher's 50th birthday. Beautiful. Happy birthday, Christopher. A special joy, we have Sarah helping us sing, and we have David Hearn back again, and thank you for joining us. So with all of these joys, all of the sorrows, concerns, sometimes it is necessary to do a little bit more than just wish them that everyone find peace and healing this day. Who's been named, those have not been named out loud, but have been named in our hearts. Sometimes it is good to add an extra step. And so, if you will bear with me, I want to take us through a guided meditation based on what my teacher, Sandra Engerman, developed in order to help transform some of the stuck heaviness of our thoughts and hearts into something lighter and more bearable. So I invite you to get comfortable in your best meditation position. Close your eyes if you would like, but you can open them and just sit there and be. And I'm going to drum at a steady rhythm. And I'm going to take you on a little trip. So imagine you are in your favorite place in nature, and you are completely safe. No one is around, it's very peaceful. You are content. Slowly the wind picks up. First a gentle breeze, and then stronger. You feel the wind swirl around you. It blows off any stray thoughts you might still be holding. The wind feels good, it's cleansing. The wind keeps circling you, stronger and stronger, until you are not thinking any thoughts. The wind blows your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings away for this time. You are steady where you are, with the wind releasing you of all cares, worries, and responsibilities. And from this place, you remember. You remember the vast expanse of your essence and your true being. In this moment, you are pure light. Stay as this light, even as the wind recedes and your senses return. All the parts of you are intact, and yet you are still light. And let us sit in silence.
We're going to sing a meditation right from the Teal hymnal. We've sung it before. And I thought you could sing the sound underneath, just kind of like a drone, something like that drum. And it's just breathe in, breathe out. Can you sing that? Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now I'll sing above you, but you can keep singing or sing along with me. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Thank you.
Rituals connect us to our needs and desires, to each other, to the earth, to other cultures, to our collective past and future, and to our curiosity around who we are and what we're doing here. Rituals are a concept as old as humanity, with the earliest known ritual dating back some 70,000 years ago. In today's world, much of the sacred wisdom of rituals has been lost. Many of us are completely disconnected from the rituals that our ancestors practiced for centuries. Ideological shifts and dominant cultures have tried to erase ancient and native practices that have so much to teach us. To practice your own rituals and those of your ancestors is not only an act of love, it can also be the act of connection, expression, divinity, and reverence. Rituals are small acts of rebellion against the systems we live in that want us to conform, to always be chasing the bigger and better thing, and to be the most productive cogs we can be. But we are here to connect, to love, to play, to come to know ourselves by knowing each other. We all have gifts to place on the global altar. Come, let's dance. The rituals beckon.
The rituals beckon like they are calling to us. It must be an innate human thing to create rituals, since every culture has them. Our culture here in the US does seem to work hard to minimize or obscure rituals, save the weddings and the funerals. Or maybe that's wrong, because it's not just college and high school graduations anymore, it's also kindergarten graduation. Is graduation a ritual, or is it just a custom? Well, let's see. In the journal published by Sage, Society for Personality and Social Psychology, I'm having a hard time saying that fast, Hobson et al. Published in 2017 their findings on the psychology of rituals, an integrative review. They defined ritual as rigid, formal, repetitive, actions distinguished by physical features, units of segmented action, sequenced and patterned, and it is repeated. So a ritual for their purpose was invariable, which means that even kindergarten graduation qualifies, as do the presentation of awards, the folding and presentation of a flag, and even justice of the peace weddings. As Unitarian Universalists, we have a few rituals. Can anyone name a few? Water communion, lighting the chalice, of course. Coffee hour, just coffee, right? Coffee, right. But we also have bridging and child dedication and the flower communion as well. These are collective rituals. And why would we do those? Well, Hobson et al. Proposed that we gain positive psychological effects, such as enhanced meaning. Symbolic expression can bring a transcendence to the moment, and then the ritual is over, but the enhanced effects and the transcendence persist. So we might have a routine of setting the dinner table, but once a year, we make a ritual of setting the table for the Seder dinner. And what is included on that table stays the same, including the bitter herbs and the salt water of the tears. Those don't vary. Similarly, we might wash our children with water, maybe several times a week, because they do get stinky, but we do, some of us, as depending on the culture and the faith, we might baptize or bless our children with water one time. So what makes it different? The symbolism, the mythology, the history, linking the present to our ancestors or to everyone else who has participated in that ritual. I make tea a couple times a day, every day, but I marvel at the difference in experience that I feel in a Japanese tea ceremony. It's completely transformative, and I would never put that tea in my righty cup and take it to work. That would feel sacrilegious to me. So this study divided the input for a ritual into two categories, a top-down and a bottom-up. For the top-down input, Hobson labeled that the mental input, which is the brain working to get the steps correct and to keep things in order, this part of the ritual keeps our brains busy. And then we're not making the grocery list or wondering if Bob read our email that we sent him. The brain has to work a little bit to keep the ritual on track. The bottom up input is all of the processing that happens from the sensory motor parts of the ritual. So think of a Catholic Mass where there is all the standing, the kneeling, the standing, the sitting, there's hand motions, there's blessing with holy water, and the, I call it the smoking purse, but it's called the censer. It's got the frankincense. Yes, all of those things, even if you're not Catholic, many of us are familiar with those things. Those add to the feeling and the sensations in the body that help propel the meaning of the ritual to a greater transcendence. So with the rigidity of repetition, this, in theory, deepens the beneficial psychological response. The abbot of one of the Tibetan monasteries I visited with Greg Braden echoed this when he explained that the chanting during their meditations was to generate the feeling in the body, and the feeling was the prayer. The chant wasn't the prayer, it was the feeling generated in the body. So these responses in our bodies help regulate our emotions, they give social connection to others, and even though Hobson said ritual tended to lack overt purpose and wasn't generally linked to an outcome, I'm not sure about that, a ritual can align people with focused goals and shift the mind into an ideal state, an ideal goal state. So his example was the athlete, the ritual of how she puts on her equipment, what she does before a competition, which may limit anxious thoughts during her actual performance. So that is outcome oriented. So this study found that those who suffer from anxiety, trauma, and stress, sound familiar? Anxiety, trauma, stress, tend to develop their own rituals. Perhaps this is to regain a sense of control. Hobson cited a study of Israeli women in 2006 during the Lebanese War. The women living in war zones who more frequently recited psalms had lower levels of anxiety than women who did not. And a 2008 study of Catholic college students, I thought this was a little more interesting because they gave half of the students a rosary, and the other half of the students were assigned a religious video to watch. The students who recited the rosary, which has emotion to it and a physical thing in your hand, they had a greater drop in anxiety than the students who watched the video. I think of TV as passive range of motion for the brain. I don't have to think. I'm spoon-fed everything, the images, the plot, the scenery, the sounds. But to actively participate in a ritual engages the brain, both top down and bottom up, pulling it out of that passive state. So I really enjoyed reviewing that study today. I feel like it sets us up with appreciation for the power of ritual, setting the stage for us to develop perhaps our even more personal ritual to help cope with things in our world that really seem beyond any coping strategy we can employ. This is not to say that ritual replaces our action for social justice, not at all. But I've been working in the healing arts for over 25 years, and the most powerful tool I've found for me has been ritual. Now, I have been trained in shamanic rituals, and I'm not advocating that everyone learn shamanic rituals per se, but I do feel there's merit to purposefully designing and including a personal ritual, whatever that may look like to you, for any number of things. As we age, the number of losses starts to really multiply. Several of these are not marked with a social-based ceremony. Things such as the death of a dream or the anniversary of a loved one's death, or retirement, which is often marked with a party, but not a ritual preparing the way for welcoming the new space post retirement. What about starting a new semester at school? Or having to cut down a beloved but now disease stricken tree in the yard? So today I called in the directions, which thank you for your patience. It was a lengthy one for a Unitarian Universalist service, but I find in the collective shamanic ceremonies that I've attended or run, there is so much attention and intention around setting the space, like the call in, that the specific ritual itself is often quite quick. The elements of building a ritual start with intention. What would you like to accomplish? Meaning within you, as opposed to in the outside world. Getting clear and concise on an intention really helps solidify where you need to be. Space. Should your ritual be inside or outside? If it's the tree being cut down, then it probably should be where the tree lives, and then where it isn't after it's gone, and then maybe a third ceremony before you replant. For indoor rituals, sometimes the nature of it determines the location. Do you need a fireplace? Do you need running water? What I recommend is that you have a dedicated space in your home, no matter how small or large, for an altar or a ledge of dedication. Show and tell. So what's meaningful to you? I have all sorts of fun things in here. I have a bell with a dorja, which balances the masculine and the feminine. And maybe the sound and the vibration is meaningful to you or helps you shake off your day. I have the feather of a turkey vulture. Maybe a vulture is meaningful to you. They are magical. You know, they take carrion and turn it into that beautiful soaring flight. It's really quite something. So the space around me can be used, can be cleared with a feather. I have sound and rattle sound makers that maybe shake up your space. There's also the scent of things. This is sweetgrass. We always refer to braiding sweetgrass. This is actually what it looks like, actual sweetgrass. Smells delightful. But burning some to make the smoke, or sage or incense, that can kind of help set space and get your mind and body into a place. Like Pavlov's dog, they hear the bell, they're ready for dinner. It's that same thing to set the ritual space. Or maybe you have a picture or a figure of Buddha or of Socrates, of Durga, the Hindu warrior goddess. Do you have beads for recitation? That is also something that you might have in your dedicated spot. A meditation cushion could be placed nearby. A candle, a beautiful vial of water or of salt, or simply an empty vessel that represents the pure potential that is not yet been formed. So once you set up your space, even if it's the small corner of an unused formal living room, or half the shelf on a dresser in your bedroom, or perhaps you have an entire meditation room, once that space is set, then it needs to be used. Whatever your indoor practice is, do it there if you can. Tai Chi, meditation, yoga, daily affirmations, reading poetry or scripture of one faith or another. What's the spiritual side of you that wants to express? That's what happens in that space. Your cells in your body remember what they're supposed to do there. There's a shift in your brainwaves from active thinking to more contemplative and expansive thought. And then that shift gets faster and more automatic. Again, Pavlovian response. So once your space for your specific ritual is determined, then you return to your intention. Do you need to let go, or do you need to manifest and create? Is there something extra that needs to go and be let go of? So think of our coffin and cradle ritual that we do. You let go through the coffin, And in the cradle, that's what you are bringing in or birthing. That would replenish. What would represent your intention from the physical world? Like a flame, an autumn leaf, or a poem? Or do you wish to imbue something with a soothing energy to carry out with you in the world, like a worry stone to take with you everywhere you go? If there can be historic rituals for birth, marriage, death, excuse me, and other milestones, and if there can be daily practice rituals such as Zen meditation or a blessing before a meal, there can certainly be rituals geared to steady us, to aid our resilience and our connection to a world that increasingly looks less and less inviting or safe. Taking the contemplative time to get clear on the intention, the why you would create a ritual, is 80% of the work. And what follows is imagination and metaphor and knowing how you work best. Do you need physical motion to help with your bottom up receptors? Do you need music or chanting or the sound of a flowing stream to keep your mind focused on your intention? Incorporate all these aspects into your ritual. Traditionally, water and salt are both cleansing, and they would wash off, say, the news. And maybe then cue the 50-pound bag of salt, right? So remember last week, what did Reverend Larry charge us with? Imagining the world we want to participate in creating, the world we want our grandchildren to live in. These are still the days of our spiritual reconstruction. You belong to different communities. We all do. A family, a heritage that is uniquely yours. What symbols from those resources are meaningful to you, if any? I'm of Norwegian descent, so if I'm looking for some trickster energy, something playful, I could kind of feel in on that Loki energy and catch that vibration and that tone to help with my ritual, even though I just learned who Loki was like 3 years ago. Can you believe that? The design of the ritual, that's the place to play. Do you want it to be stark, or do you want it to hold you like you are nestled in a hammock on a breezy afternoon? Another option to consider is having a creative ritual where you might make a shield or like a shield of protection from intrusive thoughts or the outer world. And then you could hang that in your home. That would be like a power symbol for your home or even your workspace. Simple way, take a cardboard box. I'm pretty sure each one of us has access to a cardboard box in this age of online shopping. Cut it into a shape you like, decorate it, paint, draw, cut out pictures from magazines. I guess nobody does that anymore. I think we download them from the internet and print them out now. But if you create a power piece like this with a ritual of creation, that piece will carry that power forward beyond the ceremony of its creation. Once you have the intention and the rough bones of the structure and the materials you need for the ritual, then it's time to make sure there's a closing, an end. My shamanic teachers always teach the beginning, the middle, and the end. Most shamanic rituals end with a thanking and a releasing of the directions and the helping spirits, and then a careful withdrawal from the space, leaving it as if no ceremony was performed. Leave no trace. For letting go rituals where there is something to be left behind in nature, please make sure it's biodegradable, natural, something already from the forest returns to the forest. If you borrowed a rock for a ritual and you no longer need the rock to work with, then please return it from whence it came. That rock wants to be outside. The trend will spill over, I'm hoping, and catch on beyond our doors and shores if we clean up our space. I want to inspire you with a true story of how my one teacher, Sandra Ingerman, was moved to develop a formula for alchemy. Yes, changing lead into gold, but not lead bricks into gold bricks. She explains in her book, Medicine for the Earth, that she was fascinated by the concept of alchemy and wondered if heavy, leaded consciousness could be transformed into golden light consciousness. So she was working with the psyche. But then she was also feeling the nudge to clean up her environment and maybe work with the waters of the world, the rivers that were so polluted. So in her studies, she developed a formula for transmutation and an entire ritual around this formula. She taught it to her most trusted friends, and they decided they wanted to test. Let's see if this ritual does anything other than in our own selves. Let's see if it does something empirical. So they had 2 vials of water, and they had both been polluted with a base like ammonia, so that they had a pH of 10. Neutral is 7, and we drink water around 6.5 to 7. That's sort of where our human bodies like to hang out. So 10 is very alkaline. And 1 vial of these 2 sealed vials went to the far end of her house, and the other was right in the center of their ceremony circle. Sandy led her friends in the ceremony of transformation, and afterwards they tested the pH of both vials. And the vial at the far end of the house stayed at 10. No surprise. But the vial in the middle of the ritual had dropped to a 9. And while all of the non-science-based shamanic practitioners there were very disappointed that it didn't drop to neutral, which was a 7, a chemist later informed them incredulously that that was a 1,000-fold decrease in alkalinity, 1,000 times closer to neutral from one ritual. So since that original experiment, Sandy has conducted many more experiments with living organisms, plants, pieces of fruit, and people, and it is clear that something shifts because of the ritual, even in the plants that have no bias or belief or rejection of the principle that intention and ritual can affect the outer world. Lynn McTaggart, who wrote The Power of 8, which loosely summarized is about her discovering that groups of people gathering to pray for one person is beneficial, but she found that optimum results were when 8 people gathered with the same powerful intention that, yes, the person receiving the prayers felt an improvement, but every single person of those 8 felt a benefit, even though they weren't the recipient. They were just participating in the ritual. So as I close here, I encourage you, especially those who don't like the healy-feely stuff, those who might roll their eyes at some of these suggestions, it's okay. Try something new. We've just entered autumn. This is the season for letting go, for the gorgeously dropping leaves that have dried on the branches and then they drop. Let the wind blow in a little low-key playful energy and get your grandkids to help design a ritual for your family. Thanks for listening. Blessed be.
The prayers of the people really made it apparent that you're all feeling how I do, how I have been feeling. And I'm going to be honest, it feels like we're careening towards worst case scenarios. And all the colorful language and what I thought were hyperbolic comparisons to terrible parts of human history from a year ago are just becoming matter-of-fact descriptions of what's happening. And all the people that I respect, all the writers, activists, and podcasters that I like to read and listen to, they've duly convinced me that we need to fight against despair and defeatism. That we need to resist cynicism and nihilism like the temptations that they are. They've convinced me that just because we know it's going to be bad, that it's already bad, Doesn't mean we can roll over and let it get as bad as it may. We still have control over how far it goes. There's no brink we can't come back from. That's what they tell me. That's what they've rationally convinced me of. Only problem is, and I don't know if anyone else feels this way, I don't know what to do. Am I the only one? It sounds like I'm the only one, but at least most times I don't know what to do. All I can say is that the rituals help with that helplessness. Being here in community with you all helps with that disconnectedness. Listening to these sermons helps with the aimlessness. Our many teams, our task forces, our committees, our service networks, activities, volunteer opportunities, protests, all of that helps with the powerlessness. When I'm on my couch scrolling through Twitter or whatever, I can't for the life of me think of what to do. But when I'm here, I feel like I can't do enough. I can't go 5 steps through coffee hour without someone reminding me of what else I could be doing. We have a way of downplaying our contributions, like it's not enough to meet the moment. Oh, sure, I have a kid in CYRE, so I help babysit in there, whatever. It's not just babysit. You are helping instill our values into our next generation, into our future. Just as one example, just today, the Human Rights Task Force will be writing letters of gratitude to write notes to the very people we need to uplift right now, the ones who are standing up and working hard to make a difference right now. Not when it's convenient, it's not necessarily politically fashionable, the stakes are high, the risks are real right now, and we're still doing it. And we're still showing gratitude to the people who are still doing it. We're here to make good trouble. And we need you. We need each and every one of you. We need you to give the time that you can give, the talents that you can give, to give the hell that you can give. So we're going to take a moment. We're going to listen to some lovely music on our incredible organ that we're lucky to have. And while we do so, you'll have an opportunity to contribute financially to the church. And all the many ways that you can contribute will be displayed on the screen. So please join me in dedicating our offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these, our offerings. If you have a chalice at home, you can join me by extinguishing it to these words by Reverend Michelle Collins. As we leave this sacred hour, may the welcome we received become the welcome we extend. Let us meet the world with open hearts, open hands, and the audacity to build spaces where every soul feels at home.
And as Dan mentioned, there is that time after the service all you have to do is check out all the several tables that are back there, but there's the one for writing the thank you notes for those who are making good trouble. The Human Rights Task Force has been doing this regularly. All you need to bring is you and your thank yous. They have all the supplies. So write a couple of thank you notes for those making good trouble. And as we close this space, we complete our ceremony, we release the directions, the sun in the east, the waters of the south, the cave and earth of the west, and the winds of the north. We release above and below with gratitude for the wisdom that was shared and for the container that they provided. Let us go forth in peace and blessing. Ho, blessed be. Now please rise and body your spirit and sing us out with hymn 83.
Storm clouds past and silence fall.
you.